Commander Shepard famously once said, "We'll bang, okay? But will Mass Effect 4 bang with success, or are we in for a different kind of bang entirely?" It's been an intriguing few weeks in the world of gaming, where we've witnessed some notable developments. BlizzCon has just wrapped up, leaving us with some interesting announcements, but also a reminder of Blizzard's troubled corporate culture and their acquisition by Microsoft, which raises some concerns about the homogenization of the gaming industry. Today, however, I would like to delve into the Mass Effect teaser that recently dropped in celebration of N7 Day. I have a deep history with the Mass Effect series. To me, it's more than just a game. It helped me through tough times, and I cherish the memories of exploring its rich universe, bonding with characters, and experiencing the epic storyline. It is one of the few titles I revisit on a semi-regular basis, and even though I can see the cracks and the flaws, it's still a gem in my heart. Mostly, I acknowledge, due to nostalgia. As for Andromeda, I never managed to finish it, though I did progress quite far into the game. Looking back, however, I can't really recall any standout characters or set pieces, but I do remember enjoying the combat mechanics. BioWare today released a teaser trailer for Mass Effect 4, following up on their previous teaser from last year. In the video, we see an armoured helmeted figure wearing a long black coat with a popped collar over a suit of armour. They look towards the camera and then turn, drawing a sidearm from inside the jacket and head out into a storm. There is a strong visual connection here to both the Andromeda teaser and the Mass Effect 3 teaser trailers. Notably, the back of the coat features the iconic magnet mounts that are shown in both of those trailers, and the front of the jacket features the familiar N7 emblem, which represents the Special Forces of the Human Systems Alliance. It's essential here to point out that the N7 designation is specific to the Human Systems Alliance, suggesting that the character we're looking at is likely human. This is further supported based on their body shape. This potentially excludes the primary races in the Mass Effect universe. While the helmet does conceal their identity, I highly doubt that there is an Asari or Batarian beneath it. Their features are so distinctive that you would tease that over that of a faceless character. The other primary humanoid races in the universe have body morph types that would not fit this configuration. They've either got reverse jointed limbs, they're extra tall, they're much more bulky. The only races that could fit into this armor are humans, Asari, and Batarians. There's a potential here that they're trying to keep the identity of this character hidden because it's someone we know. For instance, there's a chance it could be Shepard. Now, if this character does turn out to be the main protagonist of the game, and if it's not Shepard, which we will get to, it would be pretty disappointing. With such a vast universe to explore, it's a missed opportunity not to offer players a chance to play as a different species. We've already had 4 games in the main series as humans. It's time to bring something new to the table. The idea of playing as a Turian who'd lost their home after Palaven fell, a Krogan post-genophage cure, the first generation of Quarians who don't need to wear environmental gear in public, an Asari matriarch who survived the fall of Thessia and has helped rebuild galactic civilization could all be fascinating perspectives. With how much emphasis is being made on this character at the moment, and how front and center they seem to be, especially with the links back to the N7 logo and the Human Systems Alliance, it feels strongly to me that the main character will in fact be human. Which will disappoint me, as I said, but it's not the end of the world. There's still interesting stories to be told from the human perspective in the recovery from the end of the Reaper invasion, if that's where the game is set, which things seem to hint at. You might argue at this point that the character we see here could be an NPC or a side character for the story, but if you look at this leaked art here, I think that betrays that assumption. You can see the same character front and center, and this to me feels like the box art. This here is the main character, but who are they? Let's take a deeper look at the character we're seeing here. If we look at the information we have of them so far, the main things we can go on are the armor suit and jacket combo, the sidearm, the coloring of their armor, and of course the N7 logo. Looking at the jacket, it feels to me like a cross between a biker jacket and a trench coat, especially with the dark exterior and the bright red padded interior. It is clearly an iconic part of the character design. It also features the red and white stripes down the arms that Shepard's default armor featured in the main series games. The jacket adds a vulnerability to this character that Shepard never had. Shepard, especially in teaser trailers, was always portrayed in bulky armor. Armor that broke their visual silhouette and made them seem bulky and tough and almost invulnerable. This character, however, is wrapped in a form-fitting padded jacket, something an investigator might wear to hide their clothing and appearance, especially with the high collar. Looking at the jacket, it invokes a strange mix of noir and cyberpunk, with those two genres kind of blending into a weird kind of investigative feel. It feels like someone who would operate under the radar, even though having N7 emblazoned everywhere does spoil that idea a little bit. If we combine this with the sidearm, which they draw from the jacket in the teaser, the gun they hold is actually also branded N7, making it a specialist weapon, probably a prototype, something only available to other N7 designates. It appears to have 2 barrels with an attachment added to them. And to me, this is indicative of a silencer. It's another departure from how Shepard appears. In teaser material for this character, they were always portrayed with a rifle or a shotgun. And the pistol here feels more like the weapon of an infiltrator or an investigator rather than a soldier. I also feel that this makes the legitimacy of the character stronger, as they may have just been wearing N7 armor that they found, like Ryder can in Andromeda, but having a weapon with the same designation adds an extra level of authenticity to say that this is who we think they are. Now, if we have determined, with the evidence presented, that this is indeed an N7 designated human operative, we have to ask why they are choosing to use N7 as a logo in the marketing. One possible reason is to identify a new character as a badass. They did this with Andromeda. Some of the marketing, I already mentioned, features Alec in his N7 armor, and players familiar with the universe will know that anyone wearing that emblem is someone to watch out for. But if we look at the staging here, this N7 is dead center. There is almost no other information on screen. The most important thing on camera is this designation. If you compare this to the Mass Effect 3 teaser, there is a very similar theme, with Shepard turning and walking into the camera while suited up with their face shadowed in silhouette. The only distinguishing feature is the N7. In this instance, it's not just telling us about the character, the N7 is the character. So who do we know about that has this designation in universe? Who else could this possibly be? Could it even be Shepard? I think this is a question that's on a lot of people's minds right now. And my initial reaction, personally, to seeing this was that it had to be Shepard, and I was really upset about it. If it is Shepard, there is an ending to Mass Effect 3 that does show Shepard still alive if you get enough war points and pick the destroy ending choice, so it isn't completely out there that they may bring Shepard back for the 4th game. Alternatively, if you really wanted to bring Shepard back, you could explain it away as yet another Cerberus clone. On one hand, bringing back Shepard presents an opportunity to delve deeper into the character and their impact on the galaxy. We can explore what happens to a figure like this after they give absolutely everything they can to achieve victory, and what the aftermath of that victory looks like. The Mass Effect community has a strong attachment to Shepard, and a return could be a nostalgic journey filled with emotional moments. With how Mass Effect 3 ends, however, and how it was received, I doubt that this is the case. On the other hand, it risks overlooking the rich lore of the Mass Effect universe, which is brimming with untold stories and unexplored spaces. My concern is that bringing back Shepard might feel like a safe move to capitalize on nostalgia, but it results in retreading well-worn ground with a character that really hasn't got much story left in them. Aragorn is now the king, Luke is now a Jedi, Aang has mastered all 4 elements, their stories are over. I want Mass Effect 4 to be a bold step forward, introducing new characters, alien species, and uncharted planets, and I feel that just can't happen with Shepard as a protagonist. That doesn't rule out a role for them as a side character if they must feature in this universe going forward, however. In Mass Effect 4, the new protagonist must offer players a fresh and compelling narrative experience. It's not just about playing as a different character, it's about delving into the unique background and qualities of this person. Unlike the last games, and as evidenced by Andromeda, we are starting with a fresh slate. How do we connect to this person, and why do we want to follow their journey? What makes them special? Shepard's hook was interacting with the marker, an ancient Prothean artifact that gave them a distorted warning of what is to come, and drew the player into the world and what was going to happen. Ryder's hook was waking up to disaster and the loss of their father, and having to step up and take the role of leader even though they weren't ready to do so. Despite how the rest of the game turned out, it's actually a pretty good hook. So how will this new character stand out from this? Will it be their past, distinct abilities, or some connection to something new in the galaxy that makes them the special person that we want to know about? This character's development is the key to creating and engaging an immersive story for players, and that's why it can't be Shepard. It has to be a new character. And whilst I come to you with a compelling argument as to why it can't possibly be Shepard, I still have concerns that it may be, and they stem from a couple of things. Because let's face it, BioWare needs a hit, especially after the less than successful releases of Anthem and Andromeda. This game cannot afford to fail in the current competitive gaming market. A safe route, filled with nostalgia, might not be the best approach, but I could see a desperate studio going for a move like this and trying to cash in on the nostalgia. If you do a little market research, there are many examples of reboots and reimaginings of old nostalgic properties doing very well recently. Modern Warfare has had a very successful reboot of a series that started in 2007, Square have Final Fantasy VII going through a reimagining, and Blizzard are developing new content for World of Warcraft Classic. And it does appear that there's a recurring trend in mainstream media to reuse familiar characters and settings. Properties like Star Wars and Marvel often revisit the same themes. While this strategy seems to be profitable in the short term, it can lead to burnout among fans. We see this now with Marvel flailing to return to form. Recent rumours talk about them bringing back fan-favourite characters like Iron Man and Chris Evans' Captain America to try and woo back audiences that are tired of the churn of new related content. Hopefully you now understand where I'm coming from with my fear that even though it makes sense for this not to be Shepard, there is a chance that it could be, and why I think that is a bad step for this game to take. Let's move on though, and have a look at who else could be this character. Who else do we know about that has this designation in universe? Who else could it possibly be? The first of these characters is David Anderson, voiced by Keith David, an iconic character all the way through the Mass Effect series, acting somewhat as a father figure to Shepard as they make their journey from the start to the end. This character met their fate in Mass Effect 3, leaving an indelible mark on the series. Their final lines in the story remain iconic and emotionally resonant, and it makes them one of the most memorable characters. There is absolutely no way this character could be Anderson, and I refuse to even acknowledge that possibility.
You did good, son.
The next known N7, although disavowed, is Kai Lang. Now, Kai Lang is dead, and I don't know anybody who didn't pick the Renegade option to finish them off, especially after what they do to Thane. So again, there's no real chance that this character could be Kai Lang. We also know about Alec Ryder, who is an N7 but is in the Andromeda Galaxy and is dead. Now, their son or daughter does have the ability to acquire the N7 armor and wear it during the game, but the chances of them returning in the upcoming one seem slim, especially with the fact that BioWare seem to be distancing themselves from Andromeda as much as possible. Now, if you're about to write a comment saying, but this game is set in Andromeda, I have reason to believe that it isn't, and I'll explain that later on in the video. There are two small side characters that have N7 designation that show up in the series, Lee Riley and Susan Rizzi. Lee's last contact is a message about holding out as long as possible, making it unlikely that they survived, and the teaser character being them, and Susan is a side character that literally has a conversation that you walk past. It's not going to be them either. That leaves one N7 designate whose fate is not 100% confirmed, and that is James Vega. Vega becomes an N7 during the plot of Mass Effect 3 if you follow through with their character quest, and whilst they could potentially still be alive, there's absolutely no way that that jacked character is the one wearing this very slim suit of armor in the teaser. So that means that none of these characters could possibly be this new protagonist. It really does leave only two options. It's either Shepard or it's somebody new. Now, as I expressed earlier, I really hope that BioWare explores other narrative possibilities and doesn't rely solely on Shepard's legacy. It's time to give new characters and settings a chance to shine. I think the most likely option is indeed that this is a new character, and that is something I'm very excited about. I mentioned earlier that I have disappointment in the fact that this looks like another human as a main character, and I guess you could say that the core aspect of Mass Effect is humanity finding its place in the galaxy. So it isn't too bad. It would have been pretty cool to play as a Turian though. If this were my story, Shepard would be a mythical figure in the setting, seen by some as a savior, others as a destroyer, worshipped and reviled. Very few would know the person who just kept fighting right to the end. And seeing this post-apocalyptic future with the mysterious figure of Shepard hanging over it through the eyes of someone who knew them, like Liara, would be a really fascinating story to explore alongside the primary thread. And I'm hoping some of this does make it into the game, especially as she herself has been mostly established as either appearing or making a cameo in the new title. Something else that does bear mentioning is this picture here. If we zoom in on this section of the dress, we can see what looks like a bar or nightclub scene with a variety of races standing and sitting around. I can clearly see humans, Turians, Sari, what looks to be a Geth wearing clothes, Solarians, Hanar, and there's also a Volus near the bar. I have also seen discussion online that some people are claiming that there are Angara in this picture, but I've scoured it at quite a high quality and I don't see enough compelling evidence that any of these races are more Angara than something else. Additionally, the amount of Hanar in this picture makes me feel strongly that this isn't in the Andromeda Galaxy, as no Hanar joined the initiative or boarded any of the arcs to go to that galaxy. Shepard's story concluded in Mass Effect 3, and the series faced backlash due to that controversial ending. Bringing back Shepard, even for marketing reasons, feels like a huge mistake. The evidence that we have here seems to look like our new character is an N7 designate, but that they aren't Shepard. It's a new character, and whilst they are probably human, at least we're going to be treading new ground. I'm pretty certain that we're still in the Milky Way, and hopefully Liara, a character deeply tied to the original story, will serve as a link to the past and still allow new characters and settings to shine. I was really happy to see Liara confirmed as at least cameoing, and I feel like they're the right choice to serve as a frame character to carry the old into the new. The sci-fi storytelling genre is due for some fresh and original content. While we've had some excellent sandbox sci-fi titles, it's been a while since a narrative-driven game made a significant impact. Games like Starfield really haven't left a big mark, and we need something new to captivate audiences. I want Mass Effect 4 to be a triumphant return to form for BioWare, but this teaser has raised some concerns for me. I hope that they prioritize innovation, fresh storytelling, and new experiences rather than relying solely on nostalgia. The Mass Effect universe is rich, and it's time to explore uncharted territory while honouring this series' legacy. What do you think this game is going to be like? I'm really keen to know what your interpretations of this teaser trailer and the picture are, and what you're looking forward to seeing in Mass Effect 4. I thought that I was really past being excited for this series, but seeing the teaser trailer really sparked something inside of me, and I'm keen to share that with everybody, so let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to engage with what you've put in there. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this from me, this is something new, let me know. I quite enjoyed putting it together, but it was a lot of work, so I won't do this too often unless people are really interested in seeing it. Catch you later. Ciao.
Is anyone receiving this? We've lost contact. Anomaly readings all across space.